Hello friends, I'm Dr. Sumita Misra. I'm an IAS officer of the 1990 batch, and today I'm going to be talking about some of the books I've enjoyed reading over the years. The first book I read, I think, was it was a book about a dog. It was called Lassie, and at that time it was a big fat book, and I was, I think, 6-7 years old. So that was the first book I read. I've loved reading over the years. मतलब यहाँ तक कि स्कूल के दौरान भी अगर कोई किसी किताब में घुसे हुए हैं तो उसको रात भर पढ़ना है, खत्म करना है, उस तरह का जुनून। I loved reading, and I loved reading everything. And I think ये एक चीज़ है जो मैं सभी को सलाह भी दूंगी कि जिंदगी में nothing goes waste. आपकी जो भी पढ़ाई है, जो भी रीडिंग है, जो भी अनुभव है, nothing goes waste. I would read anything and everything, whether it was history, whether it was spy thrillers, or it was romance, or it was classical literature, even Greek literature, even Sanskrit translations. So as a result, आपकी अपनी एक understanding of life, of the world develops, एक perspective develops, because life is not just mathematics, but whatever work you do also reflects who you are. So the more you broaden your understanding, I think the better it is in every field. Actually, books, I think some books are planned reading because you read about them. That this book has something meaningful to say. Like Freakonomics, I read about that book and then I said I must read it because I'm a student of economics, or the world is flat. Other books, I think the book only chooses you. आप हो सकता है पहले जैसे रेलवे स्टेशन पे बुक स्टॉल्स होती थी तो बहुत सारी बुक्स वहाँ देखने को मिलती थी, आप उनमें से जो आपको अच्छी लग गई उस मोमेंट में. When I was young, हम लोग कॉमिक्स बहुत पढ़ते थे. I don't know, आजकल मुझे लगता है बच्चे कॉमिक्स नहीं पढ़ते हैं. एंड कॉमिक्स में भी एक ग्रेडेशन था. उस टाइम 10 रुपीज की आती थी अमर चित्र कथा, सो दैट वाज द मोस्ट अफोर्डेबल. उसके बाद थी वो छोटी छोटी कमांडो कॉमिक्स जिसमें सारा वर्ल्ड वॉर 2 के हमने. कॉमिक्स वाज अ करेंसी, मतलब आप कॉमिक्स को ट्रेड कर सकते थे कि आपकी 3 अमर चित्र कथा में 1 कमांडो मिलेगी. एंड दिस इज व्हाट वी यूज्ड टू डू एज चिल्ड्रन. And the highest class of comics, of course, were Tintin and Asterix. But आजकल I find कि nobody has heard of Asterix or Tintin. So comics were, in fact, all my knowledge of World War II history is from Commando comics. So you must read, जो आपको हाथ लगे पढ़िए, उसको enjoy करिए. Favorite book is this. ये क्वेश्चन ऑफ फेवरेट बुक डजंट अराइज बिकॉज अगर किसी ने कम किताबें पढ़ी हैं तो वो कह सकता है हाँ ये वाली पसंद. बट इफ यू रेड hundreds of books, I think it's very difficult to pinpoint a favorite. But I can just share maybe my let's say top 10 which I have liked, top 10 authors whom I have enjoyed very much. I remember as a young girl I read Little Women. बहुत वो मूवी भी बनी है अभी हाल में. I enjoyed it a lot. I read The Little Prince. It's a very small, छोटी सी किताब है, and it's a very profound book on love and aloneness. Then I've loved Chitra Banerjee Devakaruni's The Palace of Illusions. I think it is a must read because it writes about the Mahabharata from Draupadi's perspective. So that's been a wonderful book. I've loved reading Amish Tripathi in recent times. He's brought Indian history back in a repackaged avatar. It's a mixture of mythology and spirituality. I've also enjoyed Ashwin Sanghi ji very much. Then I think everyone should read My Experiments with Truth by Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. It helps you understand the mind of Mahatma Gandhi. And of course, I enjoyed Charles Dickens. I read Thomas Hardy, but I didn't enjoy him. So it's very difficult for me to say one favorite book. And I've loved in recent times a book called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's a cult book among many people. It's a book you can keep going back to make sense of life, of where you are in life at any point. तो वो किताब मुझे काफ़ी मीनिंगफुल लगी. सो ये एक बहुत शॉर्ट सी लिस्ट है. अदरवाइज किताबों के बारे में आप देख ही रहे हैं. ये इस बुक शेल्फ में आई थिंक 95% ऑफ बुक्स मैंने पढ़ी हैं. सो बुक्स आर लाइफ लॉन्ग लव. My all-time favorite poem is Ulysses by Lord Tennyson, and उसमें the lines at the end, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. So those are like a personal motto: to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Again, it talks about the resilience of life, and that कुछ भी हो, we should not give up. Life is meaningful so long as we make it meaningful. अगर आप होपलेस या इनएक्शन मोड में जियोगे तो फिर लाइफ में कोई वैल्यू आपको मिलेगी. Life is like a lemon, you have to squeeze the juice out of it and make what you want, but otherwise it's just a fruit lemon. Reading is important because आप हो सकता है इस स्टेज पे तो आप सिर्फ जो आपके सब्जेक्ट्स हैं, जीएस है और जो सब्जेक्ट है उस पे फोकस्ड है. बट जो मैं कह रही हूँ कि शुरू से ही आई वुड से कि द वन थिंग वी कैन मेक आवर चिल्ड्रन और यंग पीपल डू इज टू डेवलप अ लव ऑफ बुक्स. बिकॉज एक तो you'll never be lonely in life. You'll never be wondering कि अब क्या करें, because you'll always have some book that you plan to read. And it all adds to your own understanding and knowledge. आजकल हम लोग बहुत ज़्यादा एक स्पेशलाइज्ड मोड में चले गए हैं, अल्ट्रा स्पेशलाइज्ड मोड में, that we know more and more about a smaller and smaller thing. Whereas in the civil service, in the IAS, you should be knowing more and more about many things. It is a generalist service. Yes, you'll be dealing with different departments, different spheres, different sectors. That is domain knowledge that you will pick up when you are in that domain. But otherwise, you will be doing a lot of general administration, and you should be having a broad understanding of various sectors. So yes, you should know history, you should know women's studies, you should know some of the philosophical schools of thought, you should know about your own culture, you should know about the world, you should know economics. I would just say read as much as you can, and read not just with the purpose of the exam, but read for pleasure, read for leisure. Again, this is a difficult question. One book is difficult to recommend, but I can certainly mention a few. I would say To Kill a Mockingbird is one book that everyone must read. The Little Prince is another book that I would say is a must read. The Animal Farm, which is one of the most brilliant satires ever written, is another must read. And a personal favorite is The Palace of Illusions, Chitra Banerjee. So these would be 4 or 5 books which I think are a must read by everybody. So for me, reading is an extension or a part of the process of writing, and I love to write. I love to write poetry. This is my latest book of poetry, which I just released last year, the 5th one. I would highly recommend everyone to read as well as to write. We all have a creative spark in us. It doesn't have to be poetry. You can write your thoughts, you can write a paragraph or a note, and just keep them, and you will see how you have grown over the years. So make reading and writing, even if it is keeping a short a diary or a notebook with you or on your phone. Nowadays, everything happens on the smartphone. So, but make this part of your life and you will find yourself a richer and happier person over the years.